Now,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the What a Pet Wants podcast with Chloe of Camp Chloe. And I'm CJ Derby of At Home Instead Farm and Pet Sitting Services. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the fabulous felines or cats. And just a reminder that we are an opinion based program and our opinions are never to take the place of veterinary care. And without further ado, Chloe, it's all you.
hi everybody. I am doing this talk tonight to make my mother happy because my mother is the cat lady, and she was complaining about, yeah, I listen to your show, but talk about cats. So we're going to talk about cats today. So, of course, because I'm more specialized in anxiety, we're going to talk more about anxiety in cats. So what I found out, and I did some research because of course I'm more into dogs because most people hire a dog trainer, but the training for cats is the exact same way for dogs and probably every other animal on the planet. So just because you listen to our show and we're not talking about a particular breed of animal, a lot of the behavioral training is still the same. So that's just for everybody. So you're not listening to our show for nothing. It can be used for almost any animal. We talk about behavior. Um, so anxiety signs for cats, which I think like the one I think my mother, her cats, and we've had a lot of cats, like I don't know, she's had like 4 or 5, or I've had even more. But it's that annoying cat howling at 4 in the morning. And you're like, shut up. I remember mom used to complain about that all the time when our cats got older. Yes, it is considered, it's an anxiety, especially when they get older. There's more metabolic changes, there's arthritis, there's a lot of things going on, and we'll talk more about that. But if your cat is howling in the middle of the night, we'll go over some suggestions you can do to help so it doesn't quite happen all the time. But it is considered anxiety. Your cat may be showing signs of anxiety, and that's why that's going on. So we got howling, trembling, withdrawal, doesn't want to be around the family that much, hiding, changes in activity, more or less activity level, attempts to escape, excessive scratching or chewing, grooming, aggressive behavior, which we see a lot of as far as trainers. That seems to be when people start calling us, is when they start getting aggressive. But aggressive behavior is hissing, dilated pupils, flattening ears, raised hair, tucked under tail. I also see, their backs, how their backs goes in that hump. I see that all the time
That arch.
before they hiss at you. They look bigger. That's what they're trying to do. Other things are diarrhea. It might not always be something they ate. It can be stress, just like with dogs. Failure to use the litter box, spraying. We saw that a lot at the animal hospital with cats, and they'd be spraying into the furnace, like right where the hot air ducts or the cold air return, and because it would go all over the house to spray those pheromones. That's a big one. Missing the litter box or going in different places that they're not used to going. Changes in appetite. And again, over grooming or self mutilation. So they're licking too much. There's patches of hair missing, or you're starting to get like pimples or small abscesses or something like that. That should definitely be called, you call the vet. Self mutilation is something you definitely want to call the vet for it. Dog, cat, horses, anything. Call your vet. That's more of a serious thing. Along with inappropriate urination, that usually requires a vet. And of course, destruction of the house or whatever that may be happening. So those are just some things that are on there. I'm sure there's a lot. Again, I was just talking to CJ about this. Cats are very good, along with birds. Birds are probably number one, cats are number two, of hiding how they feel because anything that is like prey or can be caught, it's survival of the fittest. So they don't want to look weak. They don't want to look sick because somebody's going to pick on that. And those are the first ones to usually go. So they're very good at hiding how they feel. So with dogs, and I'm sure cats, a lot of normal behavior, but it might be a little different. You're seeing it more, you're seeing it less. That usually is a good tell to say something's up because by the time your cat or even your bird show like they're seriously sick, a lot of times they're already too far gone. And then there's nothing that the vet can do, right? CJ, you got birds. You,
Yes,
yeah,
right.
yeah,
We
yeah,
we were talking about cats that have urinary infections. We're talking about younger male kittens. We see a lot with blockages and that sort of thing. And so you want to pay attention. If you
yeah,
notice blood in a litter box, it's an immediate call to your vet and get them in because they do mask illness. And it could be a few hours from the time you discover till your cat's really in trouble. So you
yeah.
want to make
Like,
sure that you are
yeah.
proactive about that.
Yeah. Straining at the litter box is a huge one. If you go and you're seeing smaller little pea spots you're taking out, but more often, that's straining. You need to call your vet right away and let them know because once they block, you, like CJ said, you got hours. You don't got days, you got hours. And also, like I kind of said, I in the vet industry, when I worked there, the main thing people said, yeah, I noticed something was weird going on with my cats because they started peeing around the house, like peeing in different places. Ding, ding, ding. Any change like that with a cat, get them in. That is usually a sign of straining or again, arthritis is huge in cats. But again, they don't show you that until usually they're too far to the point. Is still stuff that we can do, like Medicam with pain, or they got different things. Vets have tons of different options now to help, but a lot of times, like we just shrug it off as, oh, they're just getting old. Yeah, we all get old, but doesn't mean you ignore it. That means, I mean, if you were stumbling and having a hard time and the pain was that bad, you go to the doctor, right? So we can't, the animals can't do that.
And
We gotta help them. So
and
don't just shrug it off saying it's old. There's still something that we can do for them.
and one thing too, so I'll tell you guys an interesting story, and maybe some of you'll find it funny. So I had two kitty clients, Eric and Freddie, and Freddie suddenly started having litter box accidents near the litter area, um, and they took her to the vet immediately. And the vet did blood work, ran all kinds of tests, and there wasn't anything physically wrong with Freddie. So the vet suggested setting up a camera near the litter area. So they did that, and they discovered that Eric was stalking her so that when she went to use the litter box, he would catch her in mid-action and she would be flying from the litter box with turds flying everywhere or pee flying everywhere. And that turned out to be a behavioral thing. So um, you want to definitely take your cat in and find out. It could be physical, it could be behavioral, it could be both. So um, and the other thing too, Chloe, I don't think you mentioned it yet, but we were talking earlier too about how important it is to have additional litter boxes when you have multiple cats.
Yep,
So
gonna go
we
over
we
all
were
that.
saying that if you have one cat, maybe have two litter boxes. If you have two cats, have three litter boxes. If you have five cats, two more for each cat. So, what are we talking? 10 litter boxes?
Well, no, it's if you got five, then you get seven. So it's two extra on top of the five. But yes, I was gonna go over that, but yes, again, cats are territorial. More. So then dogs, so we do a lot of cats will only go in their litter box and don't want anybody else to take it. But that the more cats you have, the more behavioral issues as far as I have seen with cats, because cats are not very good at adapting. They are they are not the greatest. They like their way and their way only, and if they don't like it, you usually see a lot of behavioral changes that come to play in my experience through the 20 years in the vet.
What
The vet hospital. So yes.
what would you say if you had to, and I'm putting you on the spot because I should send you these questions before, but I always come up with them when
I'm
we're
good.
on live. Um, what would you say are the top three things, or maybe top five things that you saw with cats that were brought into the vet? What were the top five things, maybe?
Well, inappropriate urination,
Okay,
spraying, huge one. And it can be, doesn't just have to be males, females do it too. And poor socialization with people, other pets, stuff like that. And of course, when they get older, metabolic changes. Indoor cats, the kidney disease is huge, and then thyroidism, hyperthyroidism. If your cat had an issue, those were the two go-tos: hyperthyroidism and kidney disease. So those are some big things that are in there. And then doing a lot of some research and stuff like that. I'm a separation anxiety specialist. I'm certified for that in dogs, but the same thing, their cats do have separation anxiety. I looked it up and saw some videos of the different things they did, which I thought was very interesting. But my desensitization training works for cats as well. So I can do cats if you're seeing that as well in cats. That's kind of why I wanted to bring up some of these things with symptoms of anxiety so that you guys know what you're looking for. uh, Separation anxiety, other behaviors that I saw from watching the videos were cats carrying, like I called it a whoopee, but carrying toys and pacing, just like the dogs, and howling. Also, when you watch them on the videos, they're trying to look for a safe place to go and calm themselves down. And we'll go over that. But a lot of those were tunnels and stuff like that, hiding places. So I love how CJ mentioned video cameras, because that is the best way to get that behavior to show your vet that it's really happening. A lot of people have a hard time explaining behavior, and then the vet's like, I don't know, like they don't exactly know if it's behavioral or medical or whatnot. So try get the any video you can get, whether you buy those, I have the wide home cameras. You do have to pay, for the cloud storage, monthly if you videotape it. But I have, like, through the dog business with separation anxiety, you can get Zoom for free. You download it, and then you just can put your cameras, your telephone, other lab. You can have all kinds of different videos with laptops or any other device. Go to link them all to that one Zoom site, and then you can tape record on Zoom for free for 40 minutes, I believe. But at least with most separation anxiety cases, you're seeing that anxiety pretty dark, like at least within the first 15 minutes. Um,
right.
so you're seeing that relatively, but it will record all that, and you can also watch. That's the nice thing, is you can leave the house as long as you got your phone, and you can still watch what the animal's doing on Zoom, even though you have
Yeah.
all the other cameras. So that's kind of how I do it. It also works great, for me, because I get to teach you guys, what's going on. So Zoom works really well for that if you don't necessarily have a Furbo or whatever. The only reason why I don't really love Furbo is you only got one camera. A lot of behavior you
Right.
want to capture, they go in different rooms and stuff like that. One camera, it's hard. I do it through I have another contracting job. But let me tell you, when I do it through myself and we use Zoom and I have all these different kind of cameras and I'm also recording it, it's you see so much more. So definitely record anything with any animal. It's going to help your vet behavioralist and also your behavioral trainers and stuff like that. It helps us tremendously. And also remember what's happening in the background. Environment is a huge thing when it comes to anxiety as well. So loud noises and stuff like that. So I know with Zoom, if you have a dog bark, there's a setting on Zoom that cancels the barking. Some of these Zoom settings we have to turn off because we want to hear that barking.
Right.
We need to hear what's actually going on, so it doesn't hide it. So great idea. Tape record anything if you're want to know what's really going on. That's going to help us 100 times. So as far as causes go, we got pain. Cats are notorious for arthritis when they get older. Because again, cats are great at hiding limps and all kinds of stuff. Cats are also, when I worked at the animal hospital and they got hit by cars and stuff, they are the best to compensate for if they break their pelvis and they didn't get any vet care. Their bodies are like amazing for compensating it, even with fixing the body on its own and not going to a vet. It does, it does. And they do fine, other than when they get older, they're gonna have some major arthritis. So arthritis, obviously, you're gonna see more changes, litter box issues. They can't get in and out of the litter box. They can't jump. And if you get a new puppy and you got an older cat, and the puppy's, running after the old cat, it can't, it may not be able to get on the counters, or so you got to watch out how you feed them, put those cat doors in, and then put those baby gate up for those dogs to help that particular
Right.
pet. So arthritis is huge when it comes for cats. I would have to say that is the number one thing that we say, oh, the cat's old, and don't ever address it. It's sad because when we are in pain, we have the ability to get those NSAIDs or
Right.
the Advil
We
or
uh
whatever. Your poor cat can't.
we
So,
we
watch
bebop
out for
over
that.
we bebop
Yeah.
over to the medicine cabinet and get some medicine, and our cats can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So watch out. Arthritis, I find, is like number one when it comes to, pain and stuff like that we oversee. Um, Illness causes a lot of anxiety, whether it's fever to constipation, renal disease, hyperthyroid, anything that metabolically that is causing them some issues or pain, or again, when you don't feel good, you worry. Well, can you only imagine if this was a cat and they're worried about getting eaten? And that anxiety must go up tenfold because now they're like, oh, I'm in a lot of pain. I don't feel good. And now I'm more susceptible to get, caught or hurt. So we see a lot more anxiety when we see more of these changes when they get older, or just happens to, have a fever or something like that. Poor socialization. We see this more with like indoor cats, especially, if or you get a rescue cat and they've never been around kids and you throw them in a house with kids. That's pretty traumatizing for the
That's the
cat.
perfect storm.
Yes, yes. Um, they're not, but it's not poor socialization with other cats. It's more like with the people, other pets, kids, environments they've never been in. Those things could set a cat off. Just like with dogs, we see a lot of we see more separation anxiety just come into play when somebody dies, when a kid goes to college. You're like, my pet's been fine up until this. Trauma is what sometimes
Right.
kicks these things on. So that's also a big thing we see with the cats. Cognitive changes, again, getting older. You see memory problems in their senior years. Uh, Apparently, which I didn't exactly know why, but like Siamese, Burmese, obsidian cats, those more purebreds have a higher risk of having these changes because of genetics. Eyes seem to be a big thing with those three breeds of cats. So again, if you got a particular breed, they're going to be more susceptible to a lot of these cognitive changes and also a lot of different kinds of genetic changes due to the breeds. So watch out for that. Also, as they get older, you're going to see decreases in sensory ability. So their hearing's going to go, bad. Sight, obviously, just kind of talked about that with some of the purebreds and their smell. I remember, like when my cat started to go blind, that's when we heard a lot of the screaming and howling at 4 in the morning. So again, the cats are a little worried that they're losing their ability, just like with the dogs. Their anxiety goes up when they figure out they can't do much of anything anymore. So that's also another thing. Environmental changes, rearranging of furniture, new family member, changing the litter boxes without them knowing. Those are all traumatizing for the cats. Again, cats don't like change. You don't do very good with it. It's just not a
Right.
good idea for cats. I always say, if your household is great and you only have one cat, and then you add another one, that can sometimes
It,
be bad. I
the,
found in the vet
the
industry.
addition of one single cat when you already have one can be catastrophic.
Yeah,
Honestly, you
can.
you want to be careful how you introduce and be mindful of the way that the cat that was there originally is reacting to the new cat.
Yeah,
A lot of times people will get a puppy or a kitten and they are focused on that puppy or kitten, but they're not really in tune paying attention to the behaviors of the other animals that were in the house previously. So you really want to make sure that you're doing that.
yep, yep.
It's great to make sure everything's going good for the kitten and the puppy, but you have an older cat or an older dog, you need to make sure that things are going well for them is, it's important.
Yeah, yeah. I know with separation anxiety, because that's my main thing, a lot of people think, oh, I'll add another dog in there. And it actually can make it a lot worse. And we'll get into separation anxiety, and it's a panic disorder, but adding another animal in the mix usually will cause fighting. It does not make it better. So you've got to be cautious with adding anybody new, because you're sometimes they're fine and then you add something new and that's traumatizing for them. You're causing a lot of other issues. But
Right,
obviously, if you do it when they're younger, they're a little bit more easier to change. But if you got an old cat, they're like us. We get to a certain age, we don't like change because we know
right,
we are used to how we do things, but it's because we feel safe that way. If we do
right,
something outside the box, we don't feel as safe because you don't know what you can control, what you can't. You're older, you can't quite, if you fall, it's going to hurt a lot more and you might not be the same. So, same thing goes for your cat. So, adding a new child or another dog or cat is not always the best thing when you got an older cat. It's actually pretty bad. And then of course, fear of separation with with cats. And I wanted to make sure I looked at some videos to make sure that I know it was out there, but I didn't know like if it was that rare. But apparently, it's not horribly rare. But they say the main reason why people don't talk about it is because they don't record the cat. The cat could be screaming and doing all these things and have separation anxiety, but because nobody's recording them, that nobody knows. So
right.
again, if you're seeing pee in different spots or different changes, again, record. Let's see if it's
Yeah.
what's actually going on. So those are always great things to do. Now, how can we help them? As an enrichment trainer for dogs, for cats, it's very much the same way. Enrichment. We need to give that back. We got to give them something to do. Cats, yes, sleeping is like a big thing with cats. We always talk about how a cat sleeps like 23 hours of the day and is up one. Well, yeah, but in real life, they actually are hunters, right? They want to they prey, they stalk, they hunt, and then they eat. That is what we need to give them as far as enrichment.
Yeah.
I got I got the
I'm
little two
watching the
dogs trying
dogs.
to
You
play.
caught
I
me.
know it's distracting. She's trying to play with Archie. So enrichment for cats. We got lookouts. Look out the window. Cat walls. Like that's a new thing. I don't know if anybody's seen that on Pinterest, but they got the on the wall. They got these little shelves and like platforms, and they go
Yes,
from one.
they're all
They're
different
really kind of
levels.
cool. Yeah, they drill
Yep.
holes through the walls to the other room. Like I, that's I thought. I mean, I'd love to do that if I had cats. But those are great things for them to do because again, cats are supposed to climb trees and be on higher heights. We should give that back to them, assuming they don't have any kind of mental stability issues or some arthritis. So we want to, of course, watch those. But that's what cats do. We got to give it back. So fun wall and stuff like that. If you're really handy, lookouts with the cat trees looking out the windows. If they are looking out the windows, give them something to look at. Put a bird feeder on the tree or bass. Let the cats look at stuff they find interesting to watch. It's their TV.
Yeah.
The other things you can do is they got sensory stimulation, which we do this a little bit with puppies too. I like to bring outside stuff inside. So like leaves, put some leaves in the fall, put them in a box, and then put the box and put it on the side. Let the cat go in there and smell and play with the leaves. So that's something really easy you can do. Other things, grow cat grass. My mom does that. The cat, like outside and inside, but the cat actually goes and sleeps in the actual cat grass, and that's in the. She's got a long planter thing. The cat sleeps in there. You got catnip. You got cat grass, catnip. You just got to watch out with the catnip because they can get overstimulated with that, and that can cause some aggression. At
Oh,
least my
right.
cat does. So yeah, but I do busy boxes with the dogs. You could potentially do the same thing with cats with
Yeah.
different kinds of things like that.
Yep.
So those are great for sensory stimulation. Hideaways, boxes, tunnels. Oh my gosh! Like whenever I train a dog and the family's got cats too with their little dogs, we get on like a tunnel. The dog a tunnel. The cat loves it just as much. The cat's playing with the dog in and out of the tunnel. It is hilarious. I got some pictures here from Amazon that I can share with you. There's a ton of different like tunnels on let's see, where is this? Uh but yeah, we got all kinds of different
Oh,
tunnels
yeah.
here.
These are great.
Yeah. They do have some tunnels here, and it's for indoor cats when you put them outdoor and they're supposed to stay in there. I would not recommend them. They have claws, and because now we're not, it's against the law to declaw them. I don't think that would work very well,
No.
unless it's made out of like some wire or something. But like that's awesome. Like I like small dogs or cats love this stuff. And actually in the video that I was watching with separation anxiety, this is where the cat ended up going and that's the only place the cat felt safe. So again, hideaways. These are great hideaways. There's stuff in there, there's a ton of stuff. So I definitely recommend this for a cat or a small dog. Small dogs, I have a little bit bigger one that looks just like this upstairs in my room. The dogs absolutely love it. It is so much fun tossing treats in the tunnel and all over the place. But they have a ton of fun with that. The other thing that I found was, let me see, where is that one? There is I'm going to put it on my website, but scratching posts, again, a sensory thing
Yeah.
have different kinds of scratching posts. This one is, an easy book one on a towel, but there's also like a rug one in here. It shows you how you can put different kinds of sensory, this one's on a stairs, in between two stairs, but you don't just want to always have the same boring cardboard one. You got to put different ones in there, and that helps a lot with different things. So I'll put that on my Facebook page so people can
Yeah.
look and see. But these are do-it-yourself type of ideas, which I thought was, awesome. And I got a bunch of rugs that I don't use that I could do that if dogs actually, did something like that. But but those are some different ideas for you to so that you can kind of do some of these other kind of sensory enrichment and stuff like that. So cats need it just as much as the dogs do. There's also puzzle toys and stuff like that that are out there for cats. I've seen what we want to do is make sure that the sensory toys that we do our are completing their enrichment when it comes to when they're hungry, they stalk, they hunt, and then they digest. You want something that does that, in particular with these puzzle toys and stuff like that. The other thing they recommend is with some of these puzzle toys, do them at night because again, cats are nocturnal. And if your
Right.
cat's up howling in the middle of the night, whether it's anxiety or not, and you want some sleep, don't feed them their dinner, close to when you go to bed. Put it in the sensory game, put it away from where you sleep, and then let the cat go to town because again, that sensory game or those toys are going to take longer for them to eat. So instead of them gulping down their food all at once, that's what happened to my cats. And then they forget that they like ate, and then they start whining and stuff because they thought they didn't eat because their memories are bad when they get older. Then they start crying. I thought that was a great suggestion. Do those puzzle toys. Wait until you go to bed and do them later, far from the bedroom. so,
Right.
so that
So you're
way
not
they
hearing
have
them
that time.
crying and
Exactly.
carrying on.
Yep. So I thought that was fine. And a lot of those they suggested were food treasure hunts. So hide you can hide canned tuna, canned chicken somewhere, in different rooms away from the bedroom. Let them look for it in the middle of the night. Do stuff like that. So finding games we do a lot for dogs. Do that same stuff with the cats. So talked about the hideaways, boxes. You can use just open a box. You've got plenty of cats in boxes, empty boxes. Put a towel in there. They love to play with those stuff. Anything that's a hideaway and dark, they like. Potty spots again, multiple potty spots, like CJ said. Have one extra per amount of cats under 5. Over 5, you want 2, and if it keeps going, a lot and a lot, you're gonna add a lot more. If you got 30 cats, you're going to need like 50 boxes. So have them in different places, especially when these cats get older. Again, arthritis. They can't all go
Right.
upstairs. They can't go downstairs. So you're going to have to put them on the main level. You're going to have to put them in different rooms to make them more accessible as they get older. So
Just
you
like
want to do it.
us. I mean, we don't want to do stairs to go to the bathroom when we get older.
Yeah.
Um,
I
you
don't
know,
want to carry
some
my laundry in the basement.
something else too. I don't know if you had looked this up or not, but something I wanted to mention are catios. People so that their cats, people don't want to let their cats out, a lot of them, and I agree with that because predators could get your cats or they could get hit by a car. So I've seen over the last couple of years, I've seen the introduction of catios, which basically you can set it up where the cat can come from the house into the catio in a safe environment, but get the fresh air, see the birds flying around. It's really great. It's great to help them with anxiety too. It's stimulating them. So, and obviously it's freezing now. We're not going to do a catio in New York in January, but it's something to think about.
Yeah. Just make sure again that cat claws. They can get out of that stuff. So make sure it's definitely something
Make sure
you
it's
don't make
secure.
personally that's kind of cheap. We got it. You're gonna have to add some wire into that just in case.
Yeah, that's the
But
ones
yeah,
that I've seen. They have built all types of, it's like a nice heavy gauge wire. You don't want to do mesh. Um, Same thing with, I'm not a big fan of mesh carriers for the same reason because I know myself, I had a cat get out on the way to the vet out of a mesh carrier, and
mhm.
yeah,
They
it
can
could have
still
been a
bite you
really
too.
bad
They
situation. I opened the
can
door,
bite you
whoop.
through that mesh. Let me tell you,
So,
they bite right through it.
um, but catios can, as long as they're a heavy gauge wire and they're secure, they're a great addition.
Yeah,
And this way it keeps your cat safe. Your cat's not out running around outside and exposed to all kinds of things. It's a great
yeah,
way to keep your cat safe and let them have some nature.
yeah. On top of the potty spots, like we said, make sure you separate the food from the litter stations. A lot of cats don't like to smell their BO while they're eating like we do. So,
Yes,
again, when they get older, you might have to put the food dish in different places. I know a lot of my clients, they have dogs and cats. They put the cat food up on a higher surface. Well, when your cat starts to show arthritis, and they can show arthritis anywhere from 6 to 7 years old, doesn't have to be 10 or 11. It sometimes will show a lot earlier, especially if they've had any trauma in the past when you got them as, kittens and they got hit by a car or whatever. We don't know what's always happened to a lot of these guys. So we got to make sure if the dog tries to go after the cat food, you're gonna have to be, a little bit more inventive. That's why I always had those cat doors in their own special room so the dogs couldn't get in there. But yes, as they get older, you're gonna want to not only make sure you have more cat litter stations, but you're gonna have food in different places. So again, do that enrichment, do those puzzle toys, do it that way. That's going to keep your cat mentally stable and that cognitive function around a little bit more. So those are all, some great ideas. I'll put some of those things on my Facebook so you guys can click on them and go to figure out how to do do it yourself, and then also look on Amazon for the tunnels and the hideaways and stuff like that. I was looking up to see, we're seeing more anxiety in cats because now they're more inside cats. Again,
right.
outdoor cats have more sensory stimulation. They can go out there, they have more time. They're doing more of the mice catching and stuff. So yeah, we do see a lot less anxiety when it comes to indoor outdoor cats versus your indoor cats. What are they gonna do? So get with that enrichment. It is good for every animal on the planet, even us. I can't get over, like, I can't say it enough, but we got to do enrichment for everybody because that's how we strive through life. This is how they're going to do it too. So, that's pretty much all I have to say. And CJ is going to go over some pet sitting with cats and some stuff that you guys need when you have a pet sitter come over and take care of them.
And you guys know I'm a woman of few words. So I wanted to talk a little bit about pet sitting cats. You want to make sure when you are interviewing pet sitters that you let them know about your cat. If your cat's on medication, go over that with the potential pet sitter. Um, if your cat has any medical issues whatsoever, physical issues, remember to tell the pet sitter. You should have a pet sitter come to your house to every day. And I have cats I visit 3 times a day. I go and I do breakfast, I do dinner, and then some of them have midnight snack. And so that's fresh water, fresh food every time I go. Um, I try to play with the cats later on in the day, obviously, because they're nocturnal animals. And so I do some of the fun games that Chloe's talking about, some of the cat puzzles, or I play with wands with like a little goldfish on the end that's kind of bouncing around and their cat is chasing it. Or in some cases, I have clients with quite a few cats and the cats are all doing something. um Playtime is good. They don't sleep all the time. They want to be up. They want to keep their minds active. So, one of the things too is some of my clients grow catnip in their house and they have a few different stations for that. So, make sure that you're talking to the client, taking a little bit of catnip, giving it to the cats and letting them have some fun. But some cats are going to respond more wilder than other cats. So keep that in mind. Um,
Other things are is when you have your sitter come to do meet and greets, tell them where your stuff
oh,
is.
right, absolutely. You need to show them where litter boxes are. I cannot tell you how many times I have pet sat and wasn't told or shown where some litter boxes were, especially in larger homes. And I am faithfully scooping the litter boxes that I know about. But there's a good chance if you didn't tell me about a litter box and it's not kind of in an open area, I'm not going to know that it's there. So That's one of the reasons why I do my meet and greet. I want to come to your house, go over everything in the house for whatever animals you have. We're going to do the routine. What time do they eat breakfast? What time do they have a midday snack? Do they have dinner? Do they have a bedtime snack? What is their routine like? Do they go to bed at a certain time? I mean, with cats, like I said, they're nocturnal, but I have sat a few cats that pretty much will sleep with you the majority of the night. So it's really important that you share as much information with the person that's coming to sit for your cats as possible. So if your cat has
Yeah,
any allergies, it's the same thing as with sitting another pet. If there's allergies, let the pet sitter know, hey, my cat has an allergy to turkey, or my cat has a shellfish allergy, something like that. Be really open.
yeah. I also, everybody's got cameras now. Give your pet sitters the camera access. Whether it's a dog or a cat, gives us a little bit more information. You could change the passwords or whatever. I mean, you want to trust your pet sitter, though. I mean, if you're not willing to do some of that with your, pet sitter, I would double think on whether or not that pet sitter is good for you or not. Again, we work as a community to help all the animals and everyone feel safe. So cameras are definitely going to help, especially if you have a diabetic. Let me tell you, back in when I was pet sitting for cats with diabetes, because I was a tech and I knew how if a cat was, acidosis or not eating, like I know how important that was as a tech because
Right.
I taught the owners all about diabetes. So of course I was the perfect one to take care of their cats. But I also had issues like they removed the food and then I go over there, I don't where'd the food go? And then of course I'm like, I can't find the food. But let the sitter know if you moved anything. But yeah, cameras nowadays could totally help the tech or whoever's watching if your cat's laying by the water dish for like a half an hour to an hour, that's something wrong and that needs to be addressed, especially if your cat has kidney failure. Again, they need more water more often, so you want your sitter to come more than once a day. You're going to have to do twice a day with that. But again, have those cameras because the cats always don't do good. And I know this from experience because when my mom left her cat, as soon as they went, the cat went into kidney failure right away. Again, cats don't like change. So it caused when my mom and dad got back, passed away, because she just stopped eating and stuff because the cat again was living for my mom and dad, and when they left and she was alone, she just went downhill
Okay.
like within a few days. So again, pick if your cat if it's a cat that's got some major like health issues, maybe going to the sitter, the pet going into the sitter's house or having somebody stay at the house is going to
Yeah.
be better for that animal than just drop-ins. You have to assess each animal, and your sitter should be able to do that too.
Yeah.
Your sitter should be able to do at the meet and greet and say, okay, like kitty failure, and then tell you have an emergency plan. Like if the cat's not doing well, what do you want me to do?
Right.
And then tell your vet because your vet can't just take your pet in because of the HIPAA laws. If it's not you, you have to call your vet and say, okay, I'm going to be away this way day to this day. I okay any put the charges in and stuff like that. So be proactive about when you leave, emergency plans and stuff like that for especially cats, man. After my mom went on vacation and that happened to one of her cats, that cat downhill so fast. Even though I lived with the cat myself, but I moved out and was in my own home, but I went there to take care of it. That loneliness definitely made escalated things. So just put that in mind too.
One thing I wanted to mention about camera access is I always tell people, especially if it's my first time sitting for them, if they can create a guest account, which all of the camera accounts, you can create a guest account. So this way they don't have your personal password to go in and change anything if you're worried about it. You can do a guest password It's also the same for the internet too. I tend to Zoom from client homes because I teach during the day. So I'm on Zoom for that. And most clients will either give me their personal passwords or those that aren't comfortable, just create a guest account for me. So that's something to do. And they can do the same thing. It brought up, I have a couple clients that have the automatic garage doors. Same kind of concept. They created a guest password for me, guest account. I can do it right from my phone and go in and out. So technology is a beautiful thing. And like I said, if it's a first time and you haven't really, it's your first time with a sitter, you could be nervous. Your sitter could be nervous. So create that guest account. Let them have access to the cameras and everything. Um, but you can do a guest account, so there's no risk of them changing anything on accident or intentionally.
Yep.
Hopefully they're not
Nope.
doing that,
Yeah.
but
Especially with those cats. Like CJ said, with black cats, you got like half a day, maybe 12 hours at the most. But if they have camera access and they can check in and see that they're squatting by the litter box or laying by the water dish or something, again, those are emergency situations. I was telling CJ, with cats, black cats, male cats around the age of 1, that's kind of we see a lot of black cats then, and then we kind of don't for a while until they get older and they start developing stones and stuff like that. But it seems to be even the young cats around 1, we do
yeah,
see a high amount of black cats around there, and then I don't know if they grow out of it. We don't really know, but usually if we see that, we recommend the urinary diet to help break down the crystals so that it doesn't happen again once that happens in the 1 year olds. And they do great on that food as long as you keep them on that food. That's
right.
important. Once they get off that food, some of these cats come right back. So that food is important, and Royal Canin does have that in their regular food for kittens and mature and geriatrics. With that, it's a particular salt that makes them drink more, so it can dissolve the crystals or the stones. So it's got to be that particular food, not some of this other food going around. It's a special patented thing. So Royal
Right.
Canin is what you want to do with that. So that's my go-to with so. But as far as the enrichment idea, it's the tunnels and the hideaways, and I'm just gonna put some of those on my Facebook so you guys can click on it and look through all of them. There's hundreds of them. I think they're all great.
Yeah,
So,
it's really cool. I
so
love that. I mean, you could definitely go down the rabbit hole looking at all the different tunnels and things that are out there. It's awesome, really.
I got sidetracked for like 10, 15 minutes. What am I doing? I'm looking at cat stuff, and I don't even have a cat.
Oh, I would have been sidetracked for longer.
So, so that's it for us, CJ. Anything else?
No, I think
Okay.
I think it was an awesome show tonight. Honking our own horn, beep beep.
Yep. Beep, beep.
But we love and appreciate you guys that are tuning in. And sorry we missed
Yep.
you last week. That was me. I was very run down and tired from the weather.
It was a
Just
holiday weekend, so I
and
had a lot of dogs. So yeah,
yes,
yeah, it
so we
was
were
good.
both kind of busy. But
So
thank you for tuning in. Please
yep.
share. We're still trying to get to our 50 subscribers so that we can
We're
actually
almost
come
there, people.
live.
Just
I think we're at 47, maybe.
we needed like 4 or 5 more. That was it. So, but
Yeah,
yes.
we're
So
getting there.
you're getting
But
there. Mom, you're welcome. I did a cat one. So anybody else has any suggestions for cat stuff? I will be going over separation anxiety in dogs, and now I got some information on the cat, so we can go over that as well. But here's some cat ones. Maybe we'll have some bird ones. I got a parrot. CJ's got parrots. Training again is the same way. So
yeah.
it can be done. So
And something too, I want to tell you guys, make sure if you are looking for training, reach out to Chloe now because the way that she does her sessions, you don't have to be freezing your buns off outside somewhere. You can do this training from the comfort of your home with your pet, and you can get a lot accomplished. January, February, March, New York, it can be cold and yucky out.
that's true. We
Call
start
Chloe,
inside first before we
training
go
under your
out.
under your belts.
So, yep. All right, guys, we'll have a good rest of the night and stay warm.
Yeah, stay warm. Thank you all. Good
Bye,
night.
guys. Yep. Bye.